can't you see? I'm listening to RTP, and I'm gonna tell you why. I think this pod is fly. They'll watch a movie show, talking smack about romance. Then Mikey says something dumb. Todd wears 10 pairs of pants. Paige, Mikey, and Todd. Paige, Mikey, and Todd. Oh, I love you, baby. Romance in the pod. Paige, Mikey, and Todd. Paige, Mikey, and Todd. Well, I need you, baby. Romance in the pod. Woo!
Basically, Todd, there's like time cops who...
He's never seen Time Cop. He has to watch Time Cop first.
Okay. Oh, my God. I can't comprehend.
With our hero, JCVD.
How could you have not seen... Okay, I'm just going to calm down. I just want to calm down.
Can we just start?
Not until you promise, Pinky promise, that you will watch Time Cop.
Time Cop. What the fuck?
Can we start the damn episode?
I've started it. I'm always doing an episode. I live an episode. What the fuck you doing?
Thank you for tuning into Romancing the Pod. You had us at hello. I'm Paige Wesley.
I'm Mikey Randolph.
And I'm Todd Schlosser. And this week, Mikey made us watch
Honeymoon in Vegas.
Babies.
Mikey, I watched your face as you drank that Celsius, and I'd just like to say, I told you so. I fucking told you so.
I'm going to go ahead and say this is not a regular Celsius. This is Celsius.
What is wrong with you?
Hello, it's Michael.
Oh.
So like I was saying, Time Cop exists in a universe in which we have developed time travel technology. I know we've talked about Time Cop on, I think it was Horror Virgin. I don't remember what episode, but all I'm here to say is that it holds the fuck up.
Yeah.
And it's the basis for Loki, I think.
They were like, what if we just did Time Cop all season?
Yeah, what if we did Time Cop with Owen Wilson and an alligator that wears a crown?
Okay, what?
Bro, you don't even know. It's like you don't even care that JCVD's wife has maybe been murdered by time villains and that he has to go back in time to save his own wife, but also to stop technological proliferation of microchips for some reason. Time Cop's a great movie, dude.
The cold opener is a guy goes back to the Civil War to steal Confederate gold.
We've talked about it before.
And you didn't watch it after it.
Okay, it's not a romance or a horror movie.
Yeah, okay, but get off this call, get yourself some fucking Taco Bell, and then go watch Time Cop for free.
So anyway, we did Honeymoon in Vegas.
Yeah.
Mikey, can we talk to you a little bit about why you chose this movie, you genius?
Why you brought this gift into my life?
Yeah, let me tell you about this film. Fuck off. This film, fuck off, slipped off. I'm sorry.
Mikey's coming in spicy. That's all I'm hearing.
Honeymoon in Vegas, I'm not going to say is perfect, but it's perfect for what you're looking for in a rom-com, which is heavy on the calm, you know?
Heavy on the calm.
Oh, yeah.
Low on the rom.
Do you want the combination of Indecent Proposal and Dirty Rotten Scoundrels? Well, we've got a movie set in the early 90s for you. It's called Honeymoon in Vegas.
Is Dirty Rotten Scoundrels a rom-com?
It might be.
Okay, I have some research to do before I announce what movie I'm doing next week.
Well, I know I'm doing the movie next week. Calm down, Mamma Mia.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's right, Todd.
I got a 2-week suspension because of the Mamma Mia pick.
We needed to get back on track.
Yeah.
Mamma Mia was so bad for me. Like, I had to go back to my childhood and remember movies that I watched as a kid that were rom-coms that I still thought were really funny. Like, I put this on the same level as Joe versus the Volcano. And I know, and I think it's better than Joe.
This is way better than Joe versus the Volcano.
Wait, you put Honeymoon in Vegas on the same level as Joe versus the Volcano?
Above it. The level is not quality. The level is movies that are rom-coms that I enjoyed as like a kid.
Yeah, no, Mikey, I think that this is on a different stratosphere over Joe versus the Volcano.
Agreed.
This shit is way better than that.
First off, Joe versus the Volcano, perfect film.
No, Joe versus the Volcano is not a perfect film. That movie is fucking nonsense, and you know it.
It's fine. This movie's perfect.
But let me talk about what I love about this. I knew you two would love this because it is so...
I did.
It leans into the bonkers. And
Yes.
Nick Cage is perfect for this role.
Yes.
And then
Yes, he is, Mikey.
His screaming throughout the film is my favorite favorite thing.
It's like every other line is screamed.
Yeah, and it's like the cadence. He reacts kind of realistically to someone who would make bad decisions, such as him.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling me that. That helps. None. Thank you.
My favorite is when late in the film he just starts screaming sarcasm, where he's like, "The 5 pools are here. What are we waiting for?"
I think it's so funny, and it's like about a comitophobe and like how that can backfire against you.
So, Mikey, do you feel like you really like identify with Nick Cage in this movie?
I feel like I'm not as dumb as he is in this film. We're like,
Let's not go too far now. Come on. You're at least as dumb.
no, not about money. Not about money. You know, I'm not going to borrow $85,000 from somebody for a 1 poker hand.
Yeah. Oh
yeah,
my god.
that was real fucking dumb.
In 1991 money or whatever. I mean, that's a lot of money, 1991 style.
It's a little bit over $100,000. I looked it up because it's actually $65,000 he owes him, right? So
But back then, that bought a whole house.
back then, bitch, it bought 2 whole houses. This is like the early 90s.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious. I forgot how hilarious and goofy it was until the first scene, and I was like, yes, this is exactly why I picked this film.
Oh my God.
Because I was like, do I want to buy it? Do we want to watch an SD? Is it worth it? And then I watched the first scene, paused it, and was like, I take back everything I said. We have to do this movie.
Yeah.
That is true. He did send that in our group chat.
It's one of my favorites.
Well, my favorite, and you may have cut it out, Todd, because I have not listened all the way through the end of Mamma Mia yet. But when Mikey brought this up, when we were picking it, I was like, hey, just so you know, it's like $15 and you can only buy it. That's the only option.
Don't care.
And you were like, yeah, don't care. And then literally yesterday, you were like, oh my God, this is like $15. Can we switch to Valley Girl? And I was like, I told you in the moment.
The fact that they have not remade this in an HD release is a crime against humanity.
I completely agree. This is a movie that should be in theaters right now. They should just re-release it.
This is what people want from movies that they are not being given. And this, I mean, I'm being for real. I mean, like, movies have gotten so nihilistic and and like cold and dark.
Yeah. I blame Nolan.
People don't want to leave their house and experience that. We experience that in our homes and in our lives every day.
Yes.
Mikey, this movie has a very Forgetting Sarah Marshall feel, but the 90s version.
Yes, it does.
Which is a movie I love. And so, like, once I got into it, I was like, oh, I think I need to force people to watch this all the time.
By 25 minutes in, I was like, I'm so glad I bought this because I forgot how good this movie makes me feel when I watch it, which is like every scene is so funny.
I felt very seen because I don't think people believe that I could have an affair with Mike Tyson. The picture he shows of her, I lost my mind. I was laughing so hard I had to leave the room.
I like that Nick Cage is being real, like, they are messing with you. That is obviously your wife's face painted, like pasted onto this photo.
It's like not even good Photoshop. It's like cut and paste Photoshop.
Have you ever seen them together? No, I know she would never settle for anything less than the champ. What? And that Polaroid of her just like eating Doritos unaware. I was like, oh God, I loved this movie.
Yeah.
Did you guys love it? I was so nervous.
I loved it. I loved
Mikey,
it so much.
it was killing me to not talk about it before we started recording.
I was nervous. Y'all had not talked about it. I was like, I love this film. Like, I love this film.
The only part I didn't like was the credits.
The
The
animated
opening credits because they took forever.
Yeah, the opening credits took forever. There wasn't a lot to it. Literally everything else I loved. It was a wild ride. Although I will say this, my first note was I just paid $15 to watch this in 360p. I'm livid. And then I got to the point where the mom died and I was like, worth it. Like, I immediately was like, this is the best movie I've ever seen.
You get no backstory why she would say anything remotely like that.
It's not important.
Nope.
You just see the psychological damage just take place immediately on his face.
And then she dips out of life. Like, she's like, promise me you'll never marry anybody. And then dips.
We'll get there. But he was nominated for a Golden Globe for this performance.
I don't know what to do with that information. Was it just like a light year?
Who else was nominated?
Was there like a strike? Yeah, like Paige, I need more information.
I don't know. I'm just telling you, I think this movie has kind of a Barbie vibe, but like not feminist, but like,
No.
I mean, Barbie's a little surrealist and goofy.
You know what? I think you may have misunderstood what Barbie was
I
trying
think
to
you
say,
really
Mikey.
did. This has more of a Better Off Dead vibe
Yes,
than a
it
Barbie
really
vibe.
does. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you just don't get movies like that anymore.
You don't.
You don't.
We never get movies like this.
Actually, so I would say Booksmart is one of the closest ones we've gotten that's like this. That and Hot Rod. I don't know if either of you have seen Hot Rod.
And I love Hot Rod.
Yeah, Hot Rod's amazing.
But like, and this movie is not rated R. This came out and everybody could see it.
Right.
I mean, and they still made it funny.
Oh, yeah.
Without it being rated R.
Oh, yeah.
We've got to get back there. We're going the wrong way as a country. That's what I'm going to run on.
I agree.
I'm gonna disagree because I love me an R-rated comedy, and I think
do.
there should be comedies for adults. But whatever.
Oh, there should be comedies for adults, and this is a lane that should exist too.
Sure,
like this
sure.
is one of those movies that like you can watch with your kids, I guess, and they're not gonna get it.
While you explain indecent proposal to them.
I mean, I
Sure,
wouldn't want to watch this with
sure.
kids, but largely because
You'd have to explain why they don't have cell phones.
what's a beeper? Like it's just this movie is stuck in such a weird time in history.
Yes.
That like it really sticks out. Like the fashion's way out there, like
Yeah.
early 90s crazy. It looks like Saved by the Bell, the Max.
But
like,
some of that's all coming back. So
I know.
Like her swimsuit and everything. I was like, that looks so modern. Oh
That's
my
so
God.
funny.
The comments he makes about his ex-wife early on when he's talking about her, he's like, they said they'd never seen skin like that, like a leather sack. And I was like, what the fuck?
no, he says a satchel.
Satchel.
A leather
A
satchel.
leather satchel. And then you find out she was 38. Like, oh no. Oh no.
I think he had her killed. I think we just need to talk about it.
I think she lived in a toaster oven. She died of skin cancer, Todd. Melanoma. He does say in the movie multiple times.
Yeah, because all the laying out. He puts it all together.
Oh my God.
That's why he wants to move them to Connecticut.
Yeah.
We got to get out of the sun.
Well, that's why he's like, I should have got her out of that sun.
Yeah. I didn't even realize that that's how his first wife died. And
Yeah.
that he said her skin was like a leather satchel. I was like, well, I think I could isolate the issue that caused the melanoma.
Yeah.
My favorite character in the film is the mobster dentist that he just calls and narrates what's going on at any given time.
His name is Sally. I was
Yeah.
like, I love this. This is hilarious. But yeah, this movie was obviously probably written in the late 60s, early 70s and wasn't picked up and produced until the 90s when like no fault divorce already existed. Like the mob wasn't that connected in Vegas anymore. Like all that shit was already out. Like Elvis wasn't as big of a deal. Like, I don't know. It's very funny to me.
No, but Elvis impersonators
Elvis is always a big deal.
Elvis impersonators have been a big deal in Vegas, especially like in the 80s and 90s. I think it was actually written in the 80s because it actually references a lot of 70s movies.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I think it was written in the 80s and meant to be kind of dated a little bit.
Yeah.
But there is not a ton of fun facts, but there's one that's going to make you guys shit a brick. And so I can't wait to read it.
I can't wait. But we'll have to wait until Mikey gets off the phone.
So in Time Cop, the best...
We can all agree that, like, for the 2 seconds we see Nicolas Cage with a crazy mustache, that's the best he looks in this entire movie. Like, we can all agree that, right?
100%.
Phew, I got some movies for you where he goes mustache the whole time.
I can't wait.
all
Mikey,
right.
After watching this movie, because this is the first Nicolas Cage, like, romance or romantic, like, crazy movie I've seen with him.
Oh, I still want to advocate for Wild at Heart.
Yeah.
Which is a level of bonkers we have not attained.
We have Wild at Heart. We have Valley Girl. We have a lot of Nick Cage.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of those.
I'm doing Nick Cage fall. So
I know. I can't wait.
Wild at Heart and Valley Girl, honestly, are both pretty fucking dark.
So I think the only one I had seen before this was the one where he was an angel.
yeah, City of Angels. We did it.
Yeah, I just couldn't remember the name of the movie. So City of Angels was the only one I had seen. So this is like my second foray into the Nick Cage romanceverse. And I honestly prefer this.
When Mikey made us watch Angel movies for like a month, and we still didn't watch Michael. Isn't that the other one that we would have?
John Travolta. Yeah, I don't know if that's a romantic comedy or not.
I don't know. I'm not up on my Angel movies.
There's one with Paul Hogan that we didn't do.
Aggressively, because it was A, not a rom-com, and B, no. No one had ever heard of it. I remembered you bringing this up.
I feel like I should just have a bonkers podcast where I pick weird themes and make you two watch movies.
If you had your way, nothing would ever be streaming, Mike. You would have...
I'd be like, look under your seats. The DVDs I have provided to you from the VHS tapes we were about to watch.
I stole them from a defunct Blockbuster.
By the way, the movie Paige was talking about, the Paul Hogan movie, is called Almost an Angel, in case you guys are like me and would like have to know what that is. So I had to look it up.
You need to ignore that and watch Time Cop like we fucking told you.
Almost an Angel's a good film because Paul Hogan, he's a bad dude. He's wearing black leather. He's stealing stuff. He just committed some crimes, but he sees a little girl almost get hit by a car. He throws the little girl out of the way. He dies. God says, hey, I think there's some good in you. You have to go back down on earth and like do some good.
That's not a rom-com, Mikey. That's just a weird movie.
I think there's a romance in there somewhere.
No, Mikey.
It's classified as a comedy fantasy.
Mikey, if you had your way and you had just your bonkers podcast, it would just be you half remembering movies you saw 40 years ago.
Who would want to listen to that? Everyone.
But then halfway through being like, oh, wait, that's a completely different movie. I mixed up two different movies and described something that sounded way better than anything that actually exists. But the one time that you were completely accurate, Time Cop. Todd, gotta watch Time Cop.
Apparently, I have to watch Time Cop, but I don't have time to watch Time Cop because I'm watching wonderful movies like Honeymoon in Vegas, where they spend most of the movie where I had my honeymoon in specifically Kapa. Like, he lives in the city I went on my honeymoon to. And that weirded me out. I was like, I know this marriage isn't going to work because I've been through this.
Yeah, no, that's the like main tourist part of Kauai.
I know. And Kauai is not like a hugely visited island. That's one of the reasons we wanted to go there.
It's the fancy jungle island.
Yeah.
And I mean that, like, if you want to go on hikes and see waterfalls, you go to Kauai.
Yes.
If you're like, I want to windsurf and eat as many pineapple-infused wings as I can shove into my tourist face, that's more of like a Maui Oahu
type vibe,
experience for you.
So Almost an Angel grossed $7 million on a budget of $25 million.
Good night.
That's terrible. I feel like this movie is like unexplainable. But Paige, we're going to make you explain it to us because we should get into it so we can go through it scene by scene.
It's not unexplainable. It's like the hero's journey.
Yeah.
Man versus himself.
Yeah. The Civil War. A group of soldiers walking down the street come up against one man with Uzis. He fires.
With their they've got laser sights.
Laser Uzis. They die. We cut to Jean-Claude Van Damme in a shopping mall.
Is this the Make Todd Watch Time Cop podcast? So let's just go through this movie so we can talk about it scene by scene.
Great. We open with Nicolas Cage arriving at the hospital where his mother is dying. And she's just like, I'm ready to die. But first, promise me that you won't marry anybody. And he's like, I can't promise that. That seems like a little overarching. And she's like,
But she grabs his head. Promise me.
Promise me. And then she dies, for lack of a better word, cross-eyed. Just like, oh, gone.
It looks like she surprise shat herself, but no, she's dead.
Yeah. And of course, Nick Cage goes from zero to Nick Cage, like immediately screaming, eyes bugging out of his head.
It's amazing.
And then cut to animated credits, which is how I found out that Pat Morita was in this movie. It made me very excited, but he's not in until the very, very end, basically.
Yeah.
That part is so bonkers.
It is bonkers.
Anyway, we cut to, he is now a private investigator who like helps people who are being cheated on 4 years later.
Yes, that is his job.
No explanation. That is his job. That's just where
Yes.
it drops us,
Yeah.
right? And he's like, it just confirms what my mom said because people are terrible to each other. And then we open into his office where a guy has come in to like retain his services. And he's like, my wife, Millie,
Yes.
is having an affair with Mike Tyson. And he's like, so you've seen them together? And he's like, no. And everyone thinks I'm crazy, but I know it's happening. Here's a picture of her. And it's one of the craziest photos I've ever seen.
It's amazing. He's like, calm down, Mr. Vanilli. I'm sure that like Mike Tyson is not into your wife.
Yeah, he's just, well, and then his, the husband's explanation for why he knows it's Mike Tyson is the best part.
Because he's sure.
He's sure. And he's like, everyone at work thinks I'm nuts. They think that she's snooping around with Freddie Ramirez, but I know it's the champ. She would never settle for anything less than the champ. And I'm like, what is this psychosis?
I love that.
I did sort of love that he thought his wife could pull Mike Tyson. Like, I love that he saw her that way. I was like, good for that man for loving his wife
Yeah.
to this psychotic level.
Well, and oh God, the photo, because it's the kind of photo that like your sibling takes of you to deliberately look bad, where
Yes.
she's like half in a bag of Doritos, like, huh?
It's
like,
a blackmail photo that your sibling takes, and they're like, if you don't take me to school tomorrow or whatever, if you don't drive me where I want you to drive me, I'll upload it to Facebook or whatever.
Exactly. It's bonkers.
Yeah.
Also, this character, the husband, we do find out his last name in the scene. It's the same last name as my realtor. And I was just like,
So his wife's name is not Millie Vanilli,
it's not, unfortunately.
but that was my subversive joke from 3 minutes ago. Hello.
Hello. And no, if my realtor had showed up and been like, you know, my Aunt Millie cheated on my uncle.
You may have heard about it in a feature film about that thing exactly called Honeymoon in Vegas.
He's into ear stuff. What can I say?
Sometimes he gets a little carried away.
Yep. Anyway.
Sorry, Evander.
But we do find out that Nick Cage, his character, Jack.
Yeah, Jack Singer or Jack
Singer,
Springer or something
something,
like that. Yeah. Yeah, our main character, what's his name? I don't fucking know.
He's just a guy. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
It's Nick Cage. His name is
Nick
Nick
Cage.
Cage, guys.
His girlfriend, SJP, a pre-Sex in the City SJP, named Betsy Nolan, who teaches second grade.
Yeah.
And essentially, like, everyone around them is kind of getting divorced or having problems. And so he's like, see, this is why we shouldn't get married. I'm like, it's not the marriage that's the problem. It's that people are treating people badly and not communicating well. But
Yeah.
anyway, it gets to, he also reveals that he has dreams about his mother vacuuming naked.
Okay. Yes, he does say that. And then she also said, don't get married. No one will love you like I love you. And
Yes,
like
Todd.
those two things together made me feel like there was a
Troubling.
relationship
Very
between
troubling.
mother and son that I am not comfortable with.
Especially given vacuums and their penchant for suction. Very
Oh,
troubling.
Too much suction.
You could have picked any appliance. They chose a vacuum.
Ooh, talk Dyson to me.
Well, there's not many appliances I would stick my dick in. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying, Mikey. That's why they picked a vacuum. They could have been like my mom. She was naked at the toaster.
No, but I mean, like, I ain't fucking a blender. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course not.
So, Mikey, let me ask you a question really quick. Out of all the appliances in your kitchen currently, which one would you fuck?
What's the most fuckable?
Most fuckable kitchen appliance, go.
You know, it's hard to answer. There's so many.
So many options, right?
It's like choose your own torture device. It's like, do you want to stick your dick in an air fryer? I don't think so.
Not unless you want it extra crispy.
Is a watermelon an appliance?
No, it's not.
I was going to ask if a cucumber was an appliance.
Ugh. Okay, but if you did have to be in a relationship with a kitchen appliance, Todd, what would it be?
Microwave, hands down.
Because of the 60-second rule you have?
Oh, yeah. That's all it takes, baby.
Just set it to popcorn and let it fly.
Yeah, let it go. Oh, I want to reheat this relationship setting maximum power. Oof.
Oh,
Let's get some radiation on it.
oh God.
Mikey's over here fucking his toaster. So what happens next?
I asked for a KitchenAid snow cone maker for Christmas, so I think that'd be the number one priority.
Can I give you a pro tip? And this is not because of his recent passing. The Margaritaville margarita maker is actually a better snow cone maker than any other snow cone maker on the market. Take it to the bank. You're welcome.
And Mikey, another tip. When you do upgrade to the Margaritaville margarita maker, don't fuck it.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about that. You void your warranty.
Sir, why is this Vitamix sticky?
Oh my God. Oh my God. At some point, someone has to end the bit.
And that's why I recommend Athletic Greens, because it comes with a shaker.
A very fuckable shaker.
So curvy. Who doesn't like a healthy woman / inanimate object?
Anyway, so we cut to him playing poker in his house, just to kind of like establish that he plays poker. She's kind of in on it. He takes her to trail a guy who is like cheating on his wife way out of his league.
Well, yeah, it's probably like a sex worker. That was I thought the
a
vibe.
purchase agreement situation.
Yeah, like a sugar baby kind of whatever thing. But like I thought it was wild that he was like, "Hey, girlfriend of many years, let me take you to this possible dangerous situation,
Right.
just so you can see what I can do." Like,
What?
there's no reason for her to be there.
He just wanted her to know about his life. I'm going to defend him on this.
It's
Yeah.
take your hooker to work day.
No.
He used the line of, "You're too pretty to do surveillance," and that's going to get him major points.
Yes, he also said, "But I am an everyman. I can blend in." And I was like,
As he wears orange leather jacket.
he is wearing a jacket that I would wear. Like, I loved that leather jacket, but you're not fitting in anywhere.
It's bright orange. He only blends in a cyberpunk setting.
No, it was like red and orange patches on it. It was like conflicting colors, and I want that jacket.
His wardrobe from this movie looks like it was pulled out of the Lost and Found of some other places Lost and Found. Like it's just, it's madness.
It looks like it was pulled out of the Lost and Found at Laser Quest. Like, that's the vibe. You know what I'm saying, Paige?
He's got like a light up vest under there. Yes.
It does look like that. They go out of
Oh,
their
God.
way to tell us that outfit he's wearing at the end was $10,000.
I know.
They were like, and these suits are $10,000. I was like,
Was that the Saturday Night Live guy?
yes, I think it's Don Pardo. I think it is.
I think it is. I'd have to double check.
It sounds a lot like him if it's not, but it sounds like him.
Yeah, it sounds like him. I don't know if it is, but I thought for sure that they were all gonna land and be like, "Oh, you owe $65,000. Let's all strip down, and if we sell our suits." Like, I thought it was gonna be some information that we needed. We did not
No,
need it.
we did not at all.
No.
We did not.
The movie just ends.
Just ends anyway. So it seems like things are going okay, but then a year later, things are not so great. And she's like, "I'm not gonna wait around forever," even though like 2 minutes ago she's like, "I'll wait around forever."
Well, people change.
Well, that whole year has passed
Yeah.
since then. There was like a little montage there, Paige. But it's clear like they're like not always on the same page. She clearly wants to get married, is what it is.
Yeah.
Which,
Which by
fair.
the way, fair.
Yeah.
Tax benefits, all kinds of benefits to being married.
Yeah.
Like from a financial standpoint, just as a baseline. Anyway. Yes, Todd?
I don't know. Just seeing you as like a financial planner, like telling people to get married is very funny to me. I don't know. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying taxes and health insurance.
And that's why you should get married. That's why it was funny. I was like, no, you should get married because you love somebody. But Paige is like, no, it's all about that fucking money.
You should. You should absolutely get married if you love somebody. But I also think that there's a lot of people walking around being like, we're not going to get married till we can have this wild $200,000 wedding. And I'm going to be like, hit up a courthouse
hell
if you
no.
want money. Like, fuck off.
Someone
Like,
to split rent with?
yeah, girl. Anyway, so they go out to dinner and he's like, "What's going on?" And she's like, "I won't be a girlfriend forever." And he's like, "I do want to be married." And they, on the way home in the car, at a green light, holding up everyone doing their business. He's like, let's get married tomorrow. Let's just go to Vegas. Which I'm like, unless this is during the summer, can she just like go to Vegas? She's a teacher.
I'm pretty sure it was snowing outside, so it's not summer.
Yeah.
Guys, in the movies, it's always snowing in New York and it's always sunny everywhere else.
In Hawaii. Yeah,
Yeah,
in Vegas.
yeah, I
You're right.
noticed that.
And Vegas. So like,
But I also like that they were at an outdoor cafe and it was not raining or snowing. And then just moments later, it's like torrential downpour and there's snow on the windowsill.
New York.
There's a lot of time skips in this first little 15 minutes. So I wonder if I got lost in the time skips. If it
Who
is like
knows?
summer.
Maybe it was two different conversations about the same thing spliced together.
Yeah, who
Very
knows?
possible. Anyway, we cut to Vegas, where they have flown to get married. And they're staying at Bally's, which doesn't even exist anymore, but was welcoming Elvis impersonators.
Of course. Okay, I have a quick question because
Mm-hmm.
the premise of this movie like hinges on him making a promise to his mother on his mother's deathbed.
Sure.
If that was you in that situation, would you just not be like, yeah, mom, sure, whatever you say, and then just fuck off and do whatever you want?
Oh, I'll tell dead people whatever they want to hear. They're dying.
No, I would just be like, that's crazy. Yeah.
Look, I'll tell people that unicorns exist.
Yeah.
You're dying.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Exactly. I would be like, yes, absolutely. I will never get married. And then I would immediately get married or I would just live my life, you know, like,
Do whatever I want. I
Yeah.
gotta live my life just like the guy in Bridgerton.
No, I would ask my mom to promise me not to die. And if she did that, I'd stay not married.
yeah, but the second you break your promise, mom, I'm going to put a ring on it.
Yeah. This movie works better if she was only staying alive if he was single and then he got married and she died because he broke the magic curse.
I love that reading of this movie. Yeah, Mikey.
Where he literally kills her, basically.
Yeah. No, Paige, he has to live his life. She's lived a long time. How old do you think he is in this movie?
He's 52 years old and she's 27. I looked it up because I was so fucking grossed out. I had that knowledge chambered.
Oh, you mean James Caan is 52
Yes.
and she... we
No,
were asking
I'm
about
talking
Nick
about
Cage.
Nick Cage.
52. I don't fucking know.
That hairline is 52 for
Nick
sure.
Cage has looked 45 since 1975.
I'll look it up. Hang on. I'll look it up.
Accurate. But he's also looked 50 for the last 20 years.
So he was 28 when they filmed this, which is bonkers knowing how he looked in this. And honestly, so Sarah Jessica Parker is very age appropriate for him then because she was 27 when they filmed this. And she looks fucking 23 and he looks 45.
He has the dark circles of a man who served in Nam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's seen some shit.
Back in the day, they just put people who were good actors on the screen. They didn't just get whatever TikTok influencer looked the most attractive at the time and threw them up on the screen.
Hey, Thorin Bradley hasn't had his movie yet, okay?
God, he's going to star in Dune Part 2.
Yeah, there's a lot of wood chopping to do on Dune
Chopping the sandworm.
in the sands of
For the
Arrakis.
spice and the sands of Arrakis.
However, shall we kill the makers? It's just him walking up with an axe.
I
Love
just
it.
watched The Deer Hunter, and it was like the first film of like, was one of the first films of Pacino and Christopher Walken and all of them, and they're all just ugly as hell.
Well, yeah, people didn't know about sunscreen back in the day or smoking and drinking.
Well, no, but I mean, like, you know, but they were good actors. I'm just saying, like, you know, now everybody has to be super attractive to be a A-lister, whatever. Be a 29-year-old bald, crazy-looking Nick Cage.
You can, you just have to play the best friend. That's the thing.
That's what I was going to say.
His best friend was a 45-year-old Dennis Mobster named Sal.
That's actually the song Mustang Sally was written about that Sally. I don't know if you guys know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Thank you for bringing the fun facts.
It's not.
It's not. I would say, because I think I'm going to watch The Minx after I finish Power and Force.
I love season 1 of The Minx.
Okay, because season 2 is out on Stars.
I have Stars, Paige. I have it already.
But Jake Johnson is that guy where like he's not ultra attractive. He always plays the best friend. But damn if that dude doesn't get the best kisses on screen. So I'm just saying there's still room for them guys.
I get the Jack Johnson thing. I get it.
Anyway, so we cut to a limo pulls up and it's Tommy Corman the gambler, but it's James Caan.
It's James
at
Caan.
52.
Yeah.
And he's clearly just like a Vegas dude. And like these dudes are all over Vegas where they're like, I come here, I gamble. And you're just like, man, okay, I guess that's your hobby. So He walks into the casino where he's greeted by Tony Shalhoub. And every time I see Tony Shalhoub in anything, it just makes me think of 30 Rock, where Jenna said that she was a 3-time Tony Shalhoub sex partner.
I love Monk. How dare you? I think he's amazing in everything.
Yes. And I do love that this is where we meet James Caan's like friend, consigliere, whatever, whose name is Mr. Sandwich.
Well, I mean, that sort of perfectly describes what he is as a character.
So I'm going to burn a fun fact right now because it made me laugh really hard.
I can't wait.
So Johnny Williams is the name of that actor. His character is named Johnny Sandwich. And it's because he played Johnny Roast Beef in Goodfellas.
What?
That's so funny.
Is this a corn fact or is this a real fact? This is a real fact?
It's a real fact.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Oh, I love that.
I thought you were going to tell me like that kid on the stage is fucking like young Bruno Mars or some shit.
That is, did you Snoop?
What?
Todd.
Wait, are you serious?
Todd. I was going to hold on to this for fun facts, but little Elvis was played by a 6-year-old Bruno Mars.
Are you serious?
Credited as Peter Jean Bruno Hernandez.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Did you guess that, Todd?
I don't know how old Bruno Mars is. I thought he would be too young to have done this.
No, Bruno Mars is our age, bruh.
But like, I was like, who's this little Bruno Mars kid doing this thing? Look at him go.
It was, in fact, Bruno Mars.
I didn't think it was actually him. That's insane.
This is how he got his start.
Uptown Funk don't give it to you.
Well, and James Caan does steal a line from one of his songs when he was like, listen, I'd jump in front of a train for you.
I'd catch a grenade for you. Anyway, so his penthouse is not available. And he basically steps on his foot and is like, make it available. And he's like, well, the president of Brazil is there. And he's like, I don't give a shit.
He grabs his balls, Paige.
He does not step on his foot. He cups the underberries. He like gets in there deep. You hear Tony Shalhoub go, whoop, or something like that. It's a very cartoon sound effect for this movie for adults.
Slide whistles.
Oh, you mean like that awesome car flip they did?
Yes.
And Never Live and Let Die has one of the best car stunts of all time in history. And it's set to a slide whistle.
It's amazing.
It's my most annoying movie fun fact.
Oh, God. Anyway, it's implied that they give him the penthouse, that they make it up for him.
Yeah, they figure it out.
Meanwhile, Nick Cage and SJP are winning at the slots. They're walking by the pool. They're having a good time. But as that's happening, James Caan and Dr. Sandwich, or Mr. Sandwich.
Good Lord. Wait, is he a medical doctor or is he a PhD? Like, hang on.
Sorry, Dr. Sandwich is a restaurant locally.
I am a doctor of sandwiching.
Yeah, I'm a pumpernickel PhD. Anyway, Dr. Sandwich is a restaurant in LA that doesn't serve sandwiches.
That's the most LA thing that I've heard. Yeah.
I hate everything about what you just said. Why would anyone not serve sandwiches?
Well, I think because there's a disconnect as to what a sandwich truly is, because it serves like halal and pita, but not like sandwiches the way we would think of sandwiches.
Sure.
But
okay.
Like every once in a while, I used to go there to get food and you'd hear them pick up the phone and be like, Dr. Sandwich. No, we don't have sandwiches. And it was one of my favorite things. Anyway, Mr. Sandwich, James Caan, walking by the pool, and they're like, it's hot as balls. And he's like, there's no more ozone layer. And he like looks and he has like a flashback to a blonde lady, also played by Sarah Jessica Parker.
Of course.
And he's just like, do you remember my Donna? She used to lay out all day, Vegas, Miami, wherever. Doctor said he never saw skin like that, like a saddlebag. Like, what?
Well, I mean, that has to be a joke, right? Like,
I don't know.
It has to be because she died of skin cancer.
She died of skin cancer, but I don't know if you've ever seen somebody who was like a super sun person for a long time and then just looked at their cleavage. Sunscreen, guys.
Oh, yeah.
As someone who vacations in Florida, yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yes. It's like the cover of the Necronomicon.
Yeah.
Klaatu,
Verata,
Verata,
titties.
Anyway, so he's like, we should have gotten her out of the sun. And I was like, what the fuck? But anyway, we cut back to Nick Cage and SJP. They're walking through the casino and they're like, so many Elvises. I got to get a suit like that. Of course, because Nick Cage is like obsessed with Elvis. It's like a thing. And they also, it looks like they run into Mike Tyson just like on the casino floor.
I think that They do. Is that not Mike Tyson in this movie?
It's kind of far away. I think so.
Well, it doesn't even focus on we need the HD remake.
We need the HD remake. I think it is Mike Tyson, though. Which, at that point, he should have been like, hey, what's the deal with Millie?
I know, right?
I hear you've been fucking around with this guy's friend.
I honestly thought that was going to come up and be like, listen, I've met Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
He's not plowing Millie.
We were just in Vegas. Where was Millie? At the slots? Anyway. James Caan sees Sarah Jessica Parker and is just like, oh my God, she looks just like Madonna, but before the sun. So we cut to Nick Cage and Sarah Jessica Parker get to their room, bang it out.
Of course.
Great.
Yeah.
Good for them. And they managed to afford, they got like some deal on that room.
I thought that was so funny when he's talking about like how much he paid for the room because they like walk in and revealed this pretty awesome room.
Yeah.
And then he's like, because I was like, this dude's a PI, right? Like he's not rich.
Right.
Like there's no way he can afford this. And he was like, I got it on some like traveler thing.
Yeah.
For like $120 a night.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay. I mean, that did explain the question I had as the viewer. Thank you.
Screenwriting was in a different place back then. A real place.
I loved it. We need to go back.
Well, they were getting paid. So, maybe if we did that, it might help. Anyway, they bang it out and they have like a mirrored ceiling, which is very fun.
I've never seen a mirrored ceiling, or I've never had sex under a mirrored ceiling, I should say.
So the hotel room Jake and I had for our honeymoon is one of the famous waterfall suites in the Madonna Inn, where it has a rock shower that's like a cave with waterfalls. But the actual
hang on, Paige. Say it slower. Like really set a scene down. Come on.
Yeah.
It's your wedding night.
Did he dress as Tarzan?
No, he was naked because it's our wedding night. It's like there's no flat surfaces, so it's impossible to charge your phone.
That is not where I thought this was going when you set this very erotic scene. This Dipsy track sucks.
The whole room is a cave. Like all of it's a cave. And then like the sink is also a cave. So you're like trying to like set a bottle of lotion and just tumbling into the sink. It's a whole thing.
That's what you do on your wedding night. You just throw a bottle of lotion, tumbling into a cave.
Tumbling into a cave.
You're like, listen, there are various caves that you can explore.
Did he spelunk all up in there?
Of course, all up in there. It's what you asked.
I know.
The rooms have been there since like the 60s, so they have made some changes over time, right?
Yeah.
And so there clearly had been a light fixture above the bed that they had removed for one reason or another. And then they just put a small mirror over where that light fixture used to be. But it was angled so you could only see our feet in it because it was like towards the foot of the bed. But we laughed about it the whole time.
Yeah, sure. Laughed about it. Laughed.
Yeah.
Because what are feet if not the tentacle of the person?
That's true.
It's 20 toes.
There's a reason we have like full-length mirrors in every room of our house that has a bed. What's up? Got to see them toe tentacles, them 20 toes.
Them twenticles.
Anyway, Mikey, mirror fun?
100%.
Yeah.
Oh,
right?
I mean, I've had mirror fun, but like never a ceiling mirror fun.
How many people were there in the fun house with you?
First off, did not have sex in a fun house. I feel like it would have looked way better if I had.
We're like looking so much longer.
Look how tall I am when I have sex with you.
Exactly. Yeah.
The key is to install those mirrors on your dresser.
Oh, no, I mean, okay, so I've had a dresser like that at one point in my life when I was in college. But like, there's a mirror in our bed. I mean, whatever. There's a mirror in the bedroom. It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, just get a mirror and then be like, I need to see my outfits.
But it just doesn't hang on the ceiling because I would just wink at myself the whole time.
Well, as a mental health professional, I'm not going to lie to you. That's basically the test for narcissism.
I'm clearly joking. It was just too difficult not to make that joke. But yeah, I've never had a ceiling fun mirror time.
I think one of my favorite things recently that happened in one of the Facebook groups is somebody brought up that they're like, yeah, so supposedly someone close to Henry Cavill says that he likes having sex in a mirror. And in my mind, I was like, oh, does he kiss on the mouth too? Like, who doesn't?
Right?
I thought this was the norm.
I thought that meant he just like built a mirror that he put a fleshlight in and had sex with himself. I thought
Would
that's
you
what that
blame him?
was.
I'd be like, go for it.
No, I would not blame him.
Oh, also, Jake texted me, Mikey, to confirm that we have not had sex in the bed you'll be sleeping in, but my dad will be cranking farts into it tonight, so you're welcome.
Yeah.
I can't wait to check into my hotel in LA.
I have had sex in that bed.
Hell yeah, Paige. Proud of you.
Not impossible chance I could break that bed in when I get there.
Ladies, come on down to the live show. September 24th, I think.
Yes, it's September 24th.
It's for Horror Virgin at Flappers in LA. In Burbank.
We'll be auctioning off tickets to Paige's bedroom.
No, I'd prefer if people didn't know my address or where I lived.
Don't worry, Mikey will blindfold them per usual.
Yeah.
He doesn't want them to know where he lives.
I'll be like, now seek Paige in the kitchen for your quesadilla and you shall leave.
Nope, people don't get to come to my house.
Love that you're not only demanding that you can have sex in Paige's house, but also demanding that Paige will cater.
Nope. Mm-mm.
Well, most events are catered.
I'm gonna have sex in that bed tonight just to piss you off.
Hell yeah, Paige, break it in.
With your father?
No, he doesn't get here till 9. I've got time.
I'll text him. I'll be like, hey, Paige had sex in that bed right before you guys got there. I'm just so
and he'll
sorry.
be like, it's her house. She owns all of it. So, like, yeah, I guess. She's a landowner. Technically, I can have sex wherever I please.
Mikey, never come over if you don't want to sit on something I've had sex on.
That's right. Damn straight.
I'm an adult that owns a house.
Yeah.
I've had sex all over this bitch.
Yeah. Either that or Peaches has peed on it.
It's probably both for some things. One thing happened first, and then Peaches ruined it. Sorry.
Same time. Well, that's fun.
Also, McCready's bunking with you. So, you know.
Hell yeah. Bro nights.
Bro nights.
I want a picture of McCready wearing the fedora from The Thing and Mikey watching the movie The Thing. I need that photo.
I will watch the movie The Thing.
Same.
McCready doesn't like clothes. He's a nudist. Anyway, mirrored ceiling. A+.
A+.
Thumbs up.
Mirrors in general.
Hey, listen, I've never done it, but I would do it.
Rock shower, difficult if there's a height differential between you.
Yeah, I've never done it, would do it.
Absolutely would do it.
Here's why I draw the line. Have you ever like stayed in a hotel with somebody and there's no dividers between the bathroom and the rest of the room?
Yes, and I don't love that.
I also don't.
It's rare though.
Hang on, it's just one open space.
No, it'll be like a wall with like a square cut out of it.
Like a glass wall. Yeah.
and you're like, oh, I could just watch you poop.
Yeah.
Okay, at first I thought you were in a prison, but okay, no, I have stayed in a hotel like that. It was terrible.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I'm gonna go get everyone some coffee, and I just like shit in the lobby every morning.
Who are you staying with?
Just right in the center so people roll their rolly suitcases right through it. As part of your continental breakfast.
Mikey, am I wrong to have done so? Would you not have done the same?
No, I've only stayed in hotels like that with like a partner.
I
So
know.
I was like, I mean, I still did that, but I was like, I don't want to like watching you shower is cool, but like the other stuff.
Hearing you coil one out is not doing it for me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's why I save my BMs for the lobbies.
It's just not what I'm into. It's not my thing.
Coil one out.
Paige, what do you call it when a woman shits?
Oh, the sluice.
Oh my God, that is amazing. Although it somehow sounds like you have a like cloaca instead of like other. Never mind. We'll just move on.
Anyway, so an envelope slides under their door.
What is happening?
It's really nice. He got invited to be a wizard at Hogwarts.
You're a wizard, Nick Cage.
Honestly, I think he is.
Diagon Alley. Yeah.
He would be perfect in a Harry Potter movie.
He would be the new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher for sure.
Just shaking Harry. Don't go out there and fight the dark.
Yelling every other scene.
Mix your potions.
Oh, you think so? Hermione!
Oh, God. Anyway, so he gets invited to a poker game and he's like, I want to play poker because he's clearly just like killing time. He doesn't want to get married. He's putting it off.
Which is insane to me. Sarah Jessica Parker is amazing. She's gorgeous. She's like, a teacher or whatever. I don't know. Like, marry that woman. What are you doing? Your mom's dead. Fuck off. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Get the tax write-off. Get on her health insurance. She's a teacher. She's part of the union. Play it fucking smart.
Hell yeah.
And she teaches on like the 40th floor by Central Park.
Are you saying she would have died?
I think she's a well-paid private school teacher. Yeah.
I'm saying one of these days she stumbles off and you've got a life insurance policy.
They had fences up because of the children part. Yeah.
So he goes to play poker and he's not doing great, but also he's playing against James Caan, who has set all this up, who's a professional poker player. So like,
I mean, Nick Cage is doing fine, but he's clearly an amateur playing a professional poker player, right?
Right. And we're cutting back and forth between him and Sarah Jessica Parker, who's in the pool. And essentially he gets 85K in, he's 65K down.
Yeah.
Which means that at one point he was 25K up and could have just walked away and didn't.
Yeah.
That's where he's dumb. I would have walked away after the first big win at that table because I've been like, well, I have to go get married now, and this is going to be a really great time.
This 10K, we're going to have a great honeymoon. Yeah.
Oh, they would have, man. That's like if they had walked away. You said he made 25K or was up 25K?
He was up 25 because he ends up down 65, but the pot is 85.
So $25,000 in 1992 was like $54,000 today.
Yeah. Oh my God, take it home and use it as a down payment on a house.
Fuck yeah, get out of there.
Yeah. Anyway, he doesn't. And James Caan is just like, how you going to pay this back to me? Like, how? Because he was lending him that money.
Yeah.
And he's like, how about if your soon-to-be wife spends a weekend with me and it's indecent proposal? And he's just like, no, well, I'll ask her. So he goes down to ask Sarah Jessica Parker and she's just like, what the fuck? Of course not. Like, what? No.
Which is the right reaction. Like, I mean, and he even says before he goes and asks her, he's like, she'll never say yes to this. Like, she will definitely say no, which I would agree.
Would you even ask a partner?
No, never. Although I would never put myself in this situation. Like, I don't have a problem with gambling. Like, I'm not like a big gambler.
The best part of this movie is it doesn't even set him up as being a big gambler.
No.
He just goes to one random poker game.
Because he doesn't want to get married.
Yeah.
He got Marty McFly because he's like, what are you, chicken to stay in this game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ba-bok. And then he's like, yeah.
Ka-ka-ka-ka-ka. Yeah.
Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the groceries, prep work, and the cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door with over 35 meals to choose from per week, including options like keto, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more. Plus, over 55 weekly add-ons. You'll have tons of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Factor now offers like a load of snacks. In fact, we just got some of these like smoothies that were really great. They have a banana chocolate smoothie that like I drank way too much of. It was so good. And even better than that, when things get hectic, Factor's like flexible. So you can change up your order every week with plans from like 4 to like 18 meals per week. So you can like have a bunch of meals or just a few meals depending upon like how many times you need meals that week, right? So it's great. So head to factormeals.com/romancingthepod50 and use code romancingthepod50 to get 50% off. That's code romancingthepod50 at factormeals.com/romancingthepod50 to get 50% off.
Anyway, he calls his dentist friend who's like, oh, I don't have the money because I bet it on all this other game, so I don't have it.
Yeah, he's like a bookie.
But we know this gambling guy, so like if he gave you it out, take it. At this point, he drops Sarah Jessica Parker off with him for the night while they're watching the like lineup of Elvises, one of which being little baby Bruno Mars.
I can't believe that's actually him. This is actually just them meeting to decide if it's something that they're willing to do, right?
Right.
So because she, in theory, is supposed to come back to Nick Cage, and then, I mean, she decides to pack right away, but like, I think the initial plan was like meet, and it'll start tomorrow, I think was the initial plan. But that changes when he's like, let's go to Hawaii. And she somehow, or for some reasons, like, yeah, that sounds great. I'm going to go to Hawaii with a man I don't know at all.
Yeah, well, and it's because they end up like talking through the show. She finds out he has kids, he's married.
Yeah.
And he's leaning heavily on the like, I was married and I loved her kind of thing. So she's seeing someone who's like, well, he understands what it is to be married. And I bet she's never been to Hawaii. And it's just like, all right, let's go.
Yeah. And he is playing it like this is not like a sexual thing at all.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I just want someone who like makes me feel like I'm with my ex and you
Right.
sort of look like her and sound like her. So let's like just do this thing. In Hawaii, it's going to be like a family affair because
Right.
my
My
son and
son's
his
gonna be
wife
there.
and their kid are going to be there. So like it's not a big deal.
Okay, so my question.
They absolutely banged it out, Mikey. I know what you were going to ask.
Well, I have two
Okay.
questions. I do also think they banged it
Yes.
out.
Sorry, you mean James Caan and Sarah Jessica Parker?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick Cage is definitely raising Caan's baby in the sequel to this.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But would you ever go out with someone who is a dead ringer from your partner? Who like let's say your current partner
Passed away. I think that would be too.
gets abducted by aliens and doesn't come back.
Okay.
And then you meet a stranger who looks just like them.
So the plot of Annihilation. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be too close for me. I think I would need to go a different route. I would need a change up in whatever the next partner was. Because otherwise it would make me too sad all the time.
I probably would. I don't know, though. That's like a hard question, I think. Because I understand what Paige is saying, too. Like, it would be devastating to lose that person so that when you look at this new person who looks the same, are you re-devastated? So, yeah, like, I don't know. That's a tough question.
Is that why you took the mirrors off the walls?
No, we have mirrors on the walls. I think the mirrors off the ceilings because I gained weight. No, sorry.
I do look like at least one of Jake's exes, like very closely. And when Jake and I met, he kind of looked like one of mine. So like
Some people have types.
people have types.
Yeah, I mean, I have types.
But like, what if they're dead?
But like dead ringer, no. I think that would make me too sad.
Dead ringer would be hard, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I dated her in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Anyway.
Yeah, so they go to Hawaii, leaving Nick Cage in Vegas to try and like gamble to get the money back, which of course he doesn't. He just like gambles all of his money away.
His side plot turns into Vegas Vacation.
Yeah. So he then goes home to New York while she's in Hawaii, and they're just like hanging out at his house in Hawaii. He's like speaking Hawaiian. They're going on boat trips,
Yeah.
like all kinds of stuff.
But he's being like the perfect gentleman. Like he's a
Right.
granddad. Like he is a retired older man. Like
Right.
they honestly, like they have no business being together, really.
Right.
But he is playing it like, you just remind me of my wife when she was younger. Let's just hang out for the weekend and then you'll go back and it'll be all fine, you know?
Right.
It's not until like right here, I think, when he kisses her for the first time after being like,
Not quite yet. We're almost there though. Yeah.
okay, yeah. So it happens while they're in Hawaii.
Yeah, that kind of break the physical barrier a little bit.
Yes.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
back in New York, Nick Cage is talking to the Mike Tyson guy again. He's like, I got hard evidence. And he's like a smooth talker with his greasy hands, like grabbing her, fondling her. I was losing my mind. I was laughing so hard.
Well, it's very funny because Nick Cage is now back home knowing his girlfriend wanting to be like wife is off with James Caan, possibly getting fondled
Right.
and groped and all that stuff that this guy is saying about his wife, who is clearly not in a relationship with Mike Tyson, but he refuses to believe that.
Right. We cut back to Hawaii and they're snorkeling. They see some huma huma nuka nuka apua'as. And yes, I did just include that so I could say that and sound cool. What up? They snorkeled.
That's very nice.
I think we need to reevaluate what cool means for you.
Well, I wasn't in band like you, so I think I'm doing good.
Oh, yeah, you didn't get any muka muka kini ha-has until later.
I did all right when I was in the high school band.
Till 10 years later is when you got your first one of those.
I could not give it away. You're right.
It's a fish.
So it's like a metaphor.
Yeah. Mikey gets it.
Yeah. I'm the king of parables next to the actual king, Jesus.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Elvis.
Oh, you mean baby Bruno Mars?
Little baby Bruno Mars.
I'm going to start being so pretentious about Bruno Mars and being like, oh, you like Bruno Mars? Yeah, I love Bruno Mars. What do you like? Oh, I don't know, like his first few albums. Like, I liked him when he was good.
Yeah, I liked his early work.
When he was just impersonating Elvis. Yeah, that was when he peaked.
You know what? Silk Sonic ate shit over his Elvis shit.
I do love
I
Silk
love Silk
Sonic, though.
Sonic.
That's fucking great.
I actually like him more as an actor in not leaving Las Vegas.
Yeah, I don't
Honeymoon in
know.
Vegas. Honeymoon
Oh,
in
you
Vegas.
like Bruno Mars's music? No, I like his early acting work. That's where he really excelled.
I'm going to go to East Nashville. I'm going to go to a record store and just sit around and wait for to have this conversation. Just have it tucked away in the back pocket.
If you go to Grimey's, it'll happen within minutes of you arriving.
Anyway, so at this point, now they go on like a boat ride and James Caan is just like, I want to marry you, not just because you look like Donna, but like, let's kiss. And she does kiss him. And he's like, Jack is complicated. He doesn't want to marry you. Or she lets him kiss her, I think is what I would say.
Yeah. I was like giving Paige the face because
Yeah.
she like lets him kiss her and then does not return it.
And he does say, stop me if, like.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he is like being a super gentleman, which we already know he is not this person. Like, we know he's like sort of gaslighting her throughout this whole thing. But like, I mean, she's in two bad relationships, sort of.
Well, he starts actively lying about her boyfriend.
Yes. Yeah. Well, soon after this, he does. But like, he does kiss her and then she doesn't pull away necessarily, I guess. So it's not like he forces it on her. She just doesn't return it.
As he's leaning in, he says, stop me anytime.
Yeah.
And she doesn't.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like The Mask.
Yeah, somebody stop me. I wish that was a romantic comedy. I would watch the shit out of The Mask.
I think it is. I think she falls in love with Stanley Ipkiss. She being Cameron Diaz in her only good acting role.
There you go. But so he basically is like, Jack is complicated. If he can't see why he should marry you already, he doesn't understand what he has, basically. You deserve better.
Which is true. Like, the reason he is able to pull the wool over her eyes is because he's using some truth about her current relationship to, like, sow seeds of distrust in that relationship so he can be there to, like, scoop up the pieces, you know?
Yep. Meanwhile, Nick Cage goes to the airport. He's trying to fly to Kauai, and he ends up in line behind Ben Stein,
who
was buying a ticket that not even for that day. Oh my God. Infuriating. I would have popped an eyeball with rage.
But this whole scene is like that happened subreddit.
Yes.
Because it's like someone at the counter being overly obnoxious, taking up too much time, and then someone in the back of the line, that's someone being Nick Cage, coming up and like yelling at that person, and then everyone else clapping in the background, like, thank you for yelling at that man, which I thought was hilarious. Like, no notes on this scene. It's hilarious.
Hilarious, but it's also one of those scenes that only occurs at this time in history, because I don't know if you listened to the Behind the Bastards on the guy who ruined the airline industry.
I did.
But this occurs during a very specific time in the airline economic industry where you could purchase lower price fares for certain days on certain routes, but only for those certain days and certain routes, which is why he's asking if he like goes to Nashville on what day. Like, that is a very real conversation that like doesn't really exist anymore, but at this time did exist. So there you go.
Wild.
Yeah. Anyway, so he flies all the way to Kauai. And as he's doing it, she is kind of falling for James Caan. Like, it's becoming a thing.
For some reason it is. Like, I refuse to believe that James Caan could steal a sandwich from Nick Cage. And we're supposed to believe that he stole Sarah Jessica Parker away from him? I doubt it.
I submit that Tony Shalhoub could steal sandwiches from both of those men. At least in this film. I mean, he's Monk. Why not?
Yeah, he's got that monkey charm, baby.
Yeah. Anyway, James Caan calls his guy back in Vegas who is constantly eating because he's Johnny Sandwich, and he's eating on the phone, and it reminded me of Mikey.
I added a lot of Mikey chewing out of the podcast. I'll just say that. I've jumped on that grenade for you, listeners.
Anyway, they're like, hey, we've got somebody at the airport, and he has a crazy name that I like.
Wasn't it just like Mahi Mahi?
No, that's Mahi Mahi. They have somebody in that's later.
Oh, no.
They have somebody in San Jose that has a crazy name.
His name's Johnny Cargo,
That's
Paige.
what it was, Johnny Cargo.
Yeah. I was like, Johnny Cargo? That's amazing.
Johnny Cargo.
It's like the perfect mob I run an airport name.
Yeah. But instead, he calls Mr. Miyagi in Kauai and is just like, taxi driver that we have a home phone number for. Just keep him away from Tommy's place. Take him wherever, but just like keep him away. And so Pat Morita picks him up at the airport and is just like, come with me, I'll take you. And he takes him instead to Chief Oorman, who is played by Peter Boyle. And just like, it goes from...
Nothing makes sense.
It goes from being culturally insensitive, I would say, to local Hawaiians, but then turns into him talking about every Broadway show he likes, which I couldn't tell until a couple scenes in, but he's got a Les Mis shirt on.
He does.
And then is just sings through all of South Pacific, which is wild. And I do love that when they go to leave, Pat Morita's like, man, he's getting senile. Usually there's only like one song. I was just like, what?
I mean, but that man is fully crazy,
Oh,
right? Like
absolutely.
he is just a
Yes.
crazy man who lives there,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. They were just there to kill time.
Yeah, oh, for sure. We cut back to the Kauai Club where she is with James Caan, SJP and James Caan.
Yeah.
And he's asking her to marry him, essentially.
Jesus. Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're trying to leave the crazy guy's house, Nick Cage is, and Pat Morita's like, oh, but there's so many beautiful things to see on the side of the island. There's the 5 reflecting pools. And he's like, the 5 pools are here? Jesus, we gotta go. Like, let's go see them right now. But it basically tricks him into going back to look for his keys, and he steals the taxi and calls to find out where James Caan's house is. He goes to the house.
Yeah.
They tell him to go to the club. He goes to the club. James Caan intercepts him, so he never gets to see SJP, and he ends up arrested.
He sees her, but she doesn't see
Right.
him, right?
Yeah.
Because he sees her looking out, pondering her life choices or whatever, because she is grappling with the should I marry James Caan? Spoiler alert, please don't do that.
Right.
So she's doing that, and he sees her doing that, and then James Caan tackles him, I think.
Yeah, they fight on the golf course, but this is also after he got directions, and he's like, now is that kapa'a, 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 and I was like, I have lived that.
That's how I knew, like,
where he was.
He lived where I honeymooned. Like, I was like, what the hell is my life that I honeymooned where this movie was?
Oh, God. Anyway, she thinks she can hear him calling for her, and James Caan is like, it's just the wind and the rocks, and I'm like, what?
Well, I mean, that's after, okay, so, because James Caan, like, tackles him, right? And they're, like, fighting, and James Caan is, like, on top, like, holding him down, and then, like, it's very clear that Nick Cage is like, no, I'm here to bring her back, I love her, you can't have her, whatever, yeah. He's like, I have the $65,000, whatever, I'll just pay you.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that money, though, he's just fully
No,
lying.
yeah.
It's called a bluff.
And then when James Caan realizes he can't, like, beat him up, he pulls Nick Cage on top of him and then yells for security.
Right.
And then Nick Cage gets arrested.
Right.
That's when James Caan goes over to SJP and is like, oh, it's weird. Did you hear anything on the wind?
Yes.
She was like, yeah, I heard like, it sounded like my ex or whatever yelling my name. And he was like, yeah, I used to hear Donna yell at me after she died out here. I was like, what are you saying, James Caan?
But then also, this is also where he tells her, he's like, yeah, he actually only owed $3,000 and he offered you up in a card game.
Yeah, which is we saw that scene. It's a full lie. Like
full
we
lie.
know he's fully just manipulating at this point.
Yes.
A whole lie, not even a half one.
Yep.
Right.
So Nick Cage ends up in prison for the night with just a large nude man in that cell, which all you see is just a butt shot of that guy.
You mean the guy who was in his butt?
Yeah. He was
He's in his butt.
I'm never not calling it that now. That's like the one good thing that came out of the Mamma Mia episode.
I haven't gotten to that part of the episode yet listening through.
I'm traumatized. I'm traumatized by Mamma Mia.
You're the one who came up with in his butt.
If you go back and listen to the Mamma Mia episode, you can fully tell when Mikey is not paying attention and then when he
Yes.
tunes back in. Like he's not even laughing. Like he's not. It's like it's so funny. It's so
What?
funny.
There's nothing funny about Mamma Mia.
Mikey, there are multiple points where Todd and I are talking and then ask you a question and you clearly didn't listen to the question and you just respond with something completely different where we're just like, okay, we just keep going.
I'm like, yeah, Mamma Mia, I hate it. Yeah, thank you.
But I'm only here so I don't get
Here's where I
fined.
don't get fined.
It like that's where the episode peaked for me. So like no notes on your performance.
I had a suspicion I wasn't going to be good after that joke. So I was like, I better write in a banger that is funny and also explains why I'm terrible for the rest of the time.
That's how we got in the butts.
It was perfect.
In his butts.
Yep.
in his butts.
Anyway, so his celly is in his butts. So
Goddamn.
he gets out the next day because he calls and Sally, the mafia dentist, makes his bail. And he leaves.
He is. He's a mafia
He's
dentist.
a mafia
You're right.
dentist. He fixes him up after they curb stomp him,
Oh, that makes sense.
right?
Don't pretend like that's his real job, guys.
Every
like
mafia needs
wow.
a dentist.
Dental is part of the mafia benefit.
Yeah. You never heard of Vincenzo the the oral maxillofacial
Come to
surgeon.
Vincenzo and get your dentures.
Veneer. It sounds Italian.
You know it does, Mikey. You're right.
It does. So he comes outside and Pat Morita's waiting there and he's like, yo, they already left, but I'll drive you to the airport. Like, what's up?
I did love that Pat Morita just knew that they had already left.
Yeah.
How would he have known that?
I think he was talking to Johnny Sandwiches.
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be.
He got a page.
Got a page from Johnny Sandwiches. So we cut to the airport where he's like, I'm trying to get stateside. And she's like, we are a state. Like, whatever.
I thought that was pretty funny, though, honestly. I was like, hell yeah, lady.
Hell yeah, lady. Here's the crazy thing. He's trying to get to Las Vegas. Currently, like if you were doing this today, there are so many flights from Hawaii to Vegas. It's one of their most popular routes.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's like one of the most popular vacations for people who live on the island to go to Vegas. So there's like 1.5 million flights basically into Vegas.
What do you think movie popularized that?
There you go. Maybe we have this to thank.
Maybe it is the movie Honeymoon in Vegas that spends half of its runtime in Hawaii.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which he basically is like, just get me a flight to anywhere that can transfer to Vegas. He ends up in San Jose.
Yes.
But from San Jose, his Vegas flight gets canceled thanks to Johnny Cargo. But here's the thing. From San Jose, he could have driven to Vegas in less time than it takes him to catch the requisite flights he needs to get to Vegas if he had just gotten in his car.
Oh, that's right, because he doesn't take the flight with the Elvis guys from
He does.
San Jose,
he does. But like only after his flight gets canceled and the other rerouted flight would have gotten him there a lot later.
That's right.
So, but like even with the Elvis guys, because that's at least a 2-hour flight from San Jose to Vegas. It's like 2-ish hours, maybe 2.5, depending on your winds or whatever. But to drive there, maximum is like 10 hours or less, right? So if his only flight was like 9 p.m., then the 10, then the 12:30 to Vegas, so he would have had to take the like roundabout. He actually could have left and gotten to Vegas just driving.
But then we wouldn't have gotten that funny shot of him like holding a sign that says like fly me to Vegas or whatever, walking down the airport like tarmac. Like
now, fun fact about San Jose, it's one of the few small the airports in the Bay that has Cessnas like that, because I have flown one out of San Jose one time.
So it's the only one that'll let you like hitchhike.
I mean, you definitely can't do that. But the only time I've been on a plane that small was out of San Jose. I know other airports do it, but like specifically San Jose has one. But yeah. So he just gets on that like flying Elvis's plane.
They just invite him on like they were waiting for him. They were like, hell yeah, we're going to Vegas. Let's do this. Whee!
Let's go.
And you're like, what the fuck
training
is happening?
Well, yeah, man. That's what the kind of energy you do it. Yeah.
But by the time they get to Vegas,
this is pre 9/11.
They have already radioed down his
name,
and that he has joined this chapter of the Flying Elvises or whatever.
That's because the main Elvis, he's a bro, like a straight up bro.
He is. He saw a fellow Elvis in need, and he was in a position to help that Elvis.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, Mikey.
My headcanon is he told them all that story on the flight and everything, and they're like all in about it.
Like Wedding Singer, where he's on the plane and he's like, Billy Idol's like, that guy's on this plane right now.
Yeah. Love it.
Now, for the next 15 minutes of this film, we cut back and forth between him just panicking with the Elvises and then her on the ground trying to avoid marrying James Caan.
Yeah, this is where we start to see that James Caan is like an evil, evil guy.
I mean, we always knew.
Well, we did, but like this is where she starts to realize it.
Right, because she's got that giant ring and they're in the same, like their hotel room is set up. They have absolutely banged it out. Like, it's pretty clear. And he's like, so we're going to go get married now. And she was like, she's like starting to have second thoughts. She's like, I need to think about this.
But she's like, let's like give it a month.
Yeah.
Because they met 2 fucking days ago or whatever.
Like 4 days ago, but
marry this person. Yeah, still, don't marry this person, right?
Right.
And she's like, let's give it a month and then see where we are in a month. And I would be like, that's like clearer heads prevailing right there. But that's when James Caan is like, I'll give you $500,000 if you marry me today.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck
is like
happening right now?
Yeah, and then he ups it to a full million.
It to a full million.
He does, which would be $2.1 million today.
There you go.
Looked it up.
Here's the thing. I think if he had just been like, of course, this is happening so fast. Let's take some time.
Yes.
She would have stayed with him, I think, if he had just not been a greedy bastard.
I think that there were some things about the lifestyle he could lead that she was into. So yeah, I don't think it's out of the question. Clearly by him saying, no, I'll buy you, essentially, which is what he's saying here,
Yeah.
which is real fucking gross. But like his reaction to this is what ends it forever for her,
Yes.
for sure. She like shuts it down and is like, no, fuck this. And then eventually like, all right, I'll marry you, whatever. Let me just take 5 minutes in our bathroom in the hotel room upstairs.
Yes.
And I'll come back down. We can get married, which is fully a lie. She just needs to separate from this violent man.
Yeah, she just
you know?
needs to get away. And so she goes up in the elevator, but then takes the stairs down.
Yeah.
So she comes back down. She blends in with a group of like showgirls. She gets one of their outfits. Very pretty.
I do love that, like, during this, like, montage of her, like, getting away, Dr. Sandwich, MD, comes down.
Dr. Sandwich, BLT.
And he's like, oh, I can't find her. And he's like, well, look for her. And then he leaves and then comes back and it's like, I can't find her. Well, go back and, like, they do that 2 times. I was like, I don't need a progress report. Just tell me you found
Well,
like,
that's because have you ever been roped into one of your friends' like schemes or like plans and you're like, fine, but your heart's not in it?
I have definitely worked with some people who weren't all in on my schemes. Yes.
Yeah, we won't let you make us a church, okay?
Yeah.
Listen, guys, it'll help come tax time.
Oh.
It's like marrying the podcast page. It's just for tax benefits or whatever.
And health insurance.
I feel like I feel like I'd be too good of a cult leader.
Who, you?
Yeah.
No, you'd get in trouble so fast. It would be so fast,
no.
Mikey.
Of the three of us, I am definitely the best cult leader.
For sure.
I think I'm the one who says the nonsense the best with the most seriousness.
I definitely think you would be a flash in the pan, quickly burnt out through some sort of Nexium type sex scandal cult leader. Yes. My thing is, pretty sure Paige started a cult 3 or 4 years ago.
6 years
and
ago.
nobody knows about it yet. That's like her level of cult leadership.
I'm just saying, if they create a sorority to worship me, I'm not involved in that or whatever.
Create a sorority to worship you.
I'm pretty sure it's I Felt a Thigh. Take your word call, Mikey.
I ignored it for till so I could laugh.
Take it. It's fine. Take it.
Holy shit. That's
I felt a thigh. Look, all I'm saying is that, like, if I wanted to get something done, I could get someone to do it.
No, I know. Paige. Yeah, I understand. I mean, listen, to a large extent, community management is like running a cult on some level. So, like, I think I'm a pretty good cult leader. It's just like, I don't want to fuck anybody. That's not my girlfriend, you know? Like, it's not that kind of cult. It's
With
like,
great power comes great response to trilatrants. All right. Anyway, so
yeah.
she escapes down the stairs. She's in a showgirl's outfit. They jump out of the plane, the flying Elvises do, with their lit up suits.
this part.
Can I? Yeah, we need to
cracks
talk about
me
this.
the
Yes,
fuck up.
thank
Go for
you.
it. Go
because
for it.
I'm scared of heights, and then him being like,
Same.
yellow then red, yellow then red, yellow then red, and then the one Elvis be like, he's just kidding, it's red then yellow, and then that guy just jumps out. I was like,
Yeah.
no,
Oh my God, no! And then he's like, no, he was kidding.
You fully don't know who to believe when he's jumping out of that plane. And like,
Well, and he pulls both. So.
he does pull both, which I thought was funny.
no, he goes yellow, red, yes.
He realizes he's not dying. And these shots of like where you see Nicolas Cage and it looks like it's supposed to be him parachuting.
Right.
He like comically is not parachuting.
Yes.
Like he is aggressively not parachuting in those shots.
Well, and also, it's his first time. You would never be able to land that first time. In fact, don't for the first few times you have to like nuts to butts jump with somebody.
Yes, I believe you do. I mean, unless you're like trying to stop the woman you love from marrying an older man.
Sure.
I mean, then in these type of extreme situations where you're wearing a $10,000 light up Elvis suit,
Hoots to sluice.
you just do what you got to do to get it done, baby. You pull yellow, then red, and then save your future wife.
So
Yep.
good.
In that over $10,000 suit that they just happen to have an extra one of.
It's insane. They always carry a spare. That's exactly exactly 6'1", 180 pounds.
What's your cape size? My favorite is just the brave Elvises of the sky. Welcome to Earth.
The announcer is amazing. Like, they're setting this up like Guinness Book World Record jump, which it probably is, but it's like a shitload of Elvis impersonators, so like, who cares? But like,
I care.
I would probably watch, like it's that
Yes.
level of like, I don't care if you're setting a world record, but I'm gonna watch that because it's just weird.
Yeah,
If I'm in Vegas again, they're like, do you want to go back to the Bellagio fountains or do you want to go watch 200 Elvises jump out of a plane? I'd be like,
We're definitely watching the U.S. Elvis paratroopers invade Vegas for sure.
Yeah, fuck that fountain. Although I did see one of my favorite things in Vegas the last time I was there, right by that fountain, where it was a guy who is dressed as Bumblebee, like a cardboard Bumblebee outfit.
You mean the Transformer Bumblebee?
That's correct.
Okay.
He had the hat part off, like the face part off, and it was just hot as balls. And he was just like, in the heat, and it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And I felt really bad because I'm
I
like,
need
man,
a Renaissance painting of that.
I was like, this must suck so hard to be in a suit in this heat. But him just like,
Why did no one tell me Comic-Con was this hard?
Bumblebee was a bad choice. Like, it was so fucking funny. I couldn't stop
Fucking love
laughing.
it.
I felt terrible. Anyway, all the Elvises land. She runs out to get him. He's like, I want to marry you.
Well, okay, so she runs out trying to avoid. She has no idea he's in the air.
Right.
But she hears the announcer saying, and the newest member of the Elvis Flyers, Jack Springer, or whatever his last name is. And she looks up and she's like, what the fuck? Like, why are you here?
Jack Singer.
Yeah. And then he like lands and runs over to her and she's dressed like a showgirl dancer. And he's like, did you get a job here?
Like, whatever.
I thought that shit was hilarious.
And then James Caan is like, it's over. He jumped out of a plane. And she was like, you jumped out of a plane. He's like, I didn't want to live if I couldn't have you. And I was like, you should talk to somebody about that.
Yeah.
And then they decide that they're going to go married. And he's like, get married. And he's like, I had a dream about my mother. She opened her eyes. I said, Mom, I'm going to marry that girl. And she smiled. But she was naked. We cut to the Chapel of the Bells, where they get married with all Elvises as witnesses. And that's the movie.
So having seen the movie, having talked about the movie, and having purchased the movie, all of us, what did you guys think about Honeymoon in Vegas?
Classic.
I will watch it when I'm sad.
No notes.
Mikey, I paid $15 for the standard definition version of this movie.
Yeah.
When they make an HD version, I will buy it again. That is how much I enjoyed this movie. It is dumb. Like, it is just a wild, bonkers, crazy premise. It sort of feels like you're watching an Adult Swim cartoon, but like it's a live action version of it. And I love it.
If it makes you feel better, I have Googled Honeymoon in Vegas on VHS.
Okay.
And they start at around $10.
Why would I buy it on I don't have a VHS player, Mikey.
I'm just telling you, I mean, you made the right choice.
Well, yeah, I mean, because I couldn't watch a VHS. I mean, I own it now. I own it on Amazon Prime.
I know. I'm just saying, like, even if
I
you
will
wanted...
watch this, what I am going to call slightly out of focus movie because it's so, like, low definition. But I loved it. It was great.
If you watch it from far away, it looks even better.
You just squint a little bit, and it looks like you bought it in HD.
I think if you're feeling sad and you want to, like, watch a movie you've never seen before that's guaranteed to cheer you up, this is it. I prescribe it.
Yep.
Yeah. Dr. Mikey
Sandwich BLT.
Yeah.
PhD BLT.
BLT,
Paige.
Dr.
Thank
Sandwich,
you.
yeah.
Mikey prescribes this movie, and I would agree. I think it's great.
It cures rheumatoid arthritis, sadness. Because Reuben's a sandwich.
Okay, so because you mispronounced rheumatoid, I thought that...
You meant Reuben like a sandwich.
Yes. Okay. I mean, that's a joke.
He's the hero of this podcast.
It has all the elements
It
of
has
one.
all the elements of a joke, but just like Subway, I don't want to eat that sandwich. So, Paige, do you have any fun facts for us?
I do.
Well, it is with your fun facts.
Bruno Mars
Nick Cage,
fun facts. I mean, that was the one that I was holding in that I thought was going to make you guys shit a brick. So we already know it was Bruno Mars.
I know our listenership is big enough that someone that's listening right now will have a conversation about Bruno Mars organically in the world.
Yes.
And I demand, if the day you listen to this episode, someone brings up Bruno Mars around you, you have to say, I liked him when he was doing his early acting work, and then just like
leave it.
walk away from that conversation.
Yep.
I hope Bruno Mars is listening.
Oh,
I doubt it, but okay.
Bruno, call me.
Call us. In addition to Bruno Mars, country music singer Ricky Van Shelton was one of the flying Elvises. He also was famous for covering an Elvis song, Wear My Ring Around Your Neck, for the film. So for the soundtrack of this film.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
He didn't jump from the plane, though. He's just in the plane, but he doesn't actually jump.
Well, I mean, the same with Nick Cage.
Yeah, for sure. Nick Cage famously is a huge Elvis fan, so much so that he actually at one point married Lisa Marie Presley, Elvis's daughter. It did not last.
Yeah.
There is some debate as to whether or not the character of Chief Orman was inspired by Marlon Brando. Some people have said yes. The director has said no. Like, there's like 4 different stories about it.
I've heard enough about the Island of Dr. Monroe shoot to make me believe that it was Moreau.
Have you
Yeah,
seen
sorry.
that documentary?
Yes.
No, wait, what's that documentary?
The director who got fired from that movie, like 3/4 in,
Yeah.
stays on set and films, and there's a whole documentary about
Okay,
it.
I gotta see that. That sounds amazing.
It is fascinating.
So the director has said no. He actually just wanted it to kind of be like a bonkers character, and actually called 2 or 3 other people to do it, but none of them seemed to get the character. So maybe not Marlon Brando. But Jack Singer's detective agency, so Nick Cage Detective Agency, is on the same floor of the same building as Max Bialystok's office in the original The Producers. The door to Max's office is actually shown in one scene in the hall. Jack is just down the hall and to the right of Max.
Awesome. Okay.
Now, James Caan achieved the bulk of his fame from working with Nicolas Cage's uncle, Francis Ford Coppola, in The Godfather. So he has actually been friends with Nicolas Cage's uncle for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Now, both Pat Morita and Danny Kamekona, Pat Morita obviously plays Mahi Mahi, and Danny Kamekona plays Nico, who is the Elvis that keeps singing during the poker game. Both of them are in Karate Kid Part 2. Which came out just a couple years before this movie, and I would say is arguably the best Karate Kid, personally.
I agree.
I agree.
Karate Kid 2 is really good.
It slaps.
Oh, Karate Kid 2.
Oh,
Ugh, yes.
It is the Empire Strikes Back of
Agreed.
that universe.
100%.
Yeah.
Now, Nicolas Cage, much like James Caan has worked with his uncle, Nicolas Cage worked with James Caan's son, Scott Caan, in Gone in 60 Seconds later on.
Nice.
So
yeah.
there's a lot of 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon going on here.
Yeah.
So there's also a number of Mel Brooks references in the film, and they were intentional. So the director of this film, Andrew Bergman, was one of the writers that worked on Blazing Saddles.
Okay.
So that's also why there's references to the producer, as well as having Peter Boyle, who played the monster in Young Frankenstein.
Yes.
Conan Bancroft previously appeared in Silent Movie. If you have not seen Silent Movie, Silent Movie is also great.
Yeah.
And Sarah Jessica Parker's husband, Matthew Broderick, actually would go on to star in the musical, stage, and screen remakes of The Producers as well.
With Nathan Lane.
With Nathan Lane,
honestly,
he's
it's
so fucking good.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yes. Now, Betsy, Sarah Jessica Parker's excuse to get away from James Caan is, I have to go to the bathroom. This is the same excuse that James Caan gives Al Pacino in The Godfather when Al Pacino has to go retrieve the gun from the bathroom.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's also what Mikey says when he gets uncomfortable in situations.
It does.
That is true.
It does.
It does true.
It does say that.
Welcome to my church. Church of Mikey.
Oh,
It does true.
Oh, God.
It does true.
I'll leave this as our last fun fact.
Okay.
At the poker game, potentially as an omen of bad things to come, Nicolas Cage wins an early hand with the dead man's hand, or a pair of 8s and aces, before losing $65,000 to Corman with the unbeatable straight flush.
Yes.
And those are your fun facts.
All right.
Well, thank you for those fun facts, Paige. Let's talk a little bit about box office. So this movie came out in 1992. What do you think the production budget was for Honeymoon in Vegas in that year?
$65,000. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to say like $3 million.
Okay.
Oh, I'm going to say 15.
Okay. Mikey, you are closer. It is unfortunately, though, $25 million.
Okay.
Which means if you adjust for inflation, that's roughly $54.4 million today. Now, this movie came out on August 28th, again, 1992, and it was number one the movie it came out. It beat the number two movie, Unforgiven, that had been out for 4 weeks at that time.
That's a good movie.
It is. It had been out for a month, though, so it was, usurped by Honeymoon in Vegas. And then Pet Sematary 2 was number 3 that week. Single White Female was number 4, and Death Becomes Her was 5.
Ooh.
Also in theaters was Three Ninjas and Sister Act. But what do you think Honeymoon in Vegas made in its opening weekend?
$30 million.
No. For opening weekend,
Yeah.
I'm going to say $7 million.
And you would be right. It's $7.3 million.
Yeah.
So it was number one its first week, but Mikey, also number one its second week.
Oh.
It was second its third week, and then it was never again in the top 5 and was only in theaters for 2 more weeks. It was in the theaters for 5 weeks total. But what do you think the movie brought in its domestic, and there was no international release, so let's just call it worldwide box office?
30. I'm going to go 30.
Okay.
26.
All right. It was actually $35.2 million, which, if you adjust for inflation, would put that at about $76.7 million today. But it still made money. So 25 was the budget. 35 was what it brought in 92. So it made money. And I mean, I'm sure it's been sold on VHS, DVD. We all paid $15 to buy it tonight. So it's still making money.
No regrets.
No regrets, and I will buy it again when it comes out in HD, which we should get like a 4K release of this. Like, I want it. Anyway, that's your box office. Mikey, do you want to hit it with that romance scale?
Romance scale. How romantic. We found the film today. Scale of 1 to 10. Paige.
1, I was troubled by most of the romances in this film, but I do still think it is a perfect film.
Todd.
I pretty much have the exact same analysis, but I do want to admit to you, I cried at the end of this movie.
What?
I couldn't help it.
I also cry when I witness perfection in nature.
Yeah, I was like, this is like watching a sunset. It's that perfect.
When they zoom out and all of those Elvises are around them as they say their vows, it's just like, Rosebud. Perfect.
So, are we going to give this any lion roars?
I'll give it a lion roar for...
Sarah Jessica Parker running around? Is that what you're trying to say,
she
Mikey?
is in a bikini 80% of the film for some reason.
That's not what the lion roar scale is about. The lion roar scale is about sexual encounters.
Yeah, there are no sexy sexual encounters
there's
on
none of
screen.
that.
Nobody's
Yeah.
neck gets grabbed in a shower.
There are implied sexy sexual encounters
Oh, wait.
off
I
screen.
also give it a 1 because I think in reality, these relationships are like borderline abusive, all of them, and terrible.
Yes.
But also, it's a perfect film, so we have to ignore it.
I don't think that's what that means, but okay.
It's also like a level of bonkers that's like not, it doesn't feel real at all. So like I'm sort of fine with it in this world because it's like silly. Like your villain gives up because the hero jumped out of a plane and he was like, I can't top that.
I can't top
yeah,
that.
you can. Yeah, you could.
You have $1 million.
But it's like cartoon rules. So like it's fine or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's your romance scale, I guess.
Yeah, that's the romance / lion / whatever we're doing that day scale.
Yeah. We haven't done like a really sexy movie since
365.
365 Part 2.
When we established the lion roar scale, yes.
Yes.
Because of the lion roar sounds they put over Massimo.
Yes. Yeah. So like the lion roar scale's been a letdown. But Paige, Mikey this week made us watch Honeymoon in Vegas. What are you going to make us watch next week?
I'm continuing with my Royal Summer.
Hell yeah. Which one are you going to do though?
Okay, I'll let you guys choose. Do you want to do
King Ralph again.
Nope.
I do think it's time for a sequel though, Mikey. I'm calling John.
So we have the option of one that came out this year or one that came out almost 20 years ago but stars Chris Pine. Which one do you want?
I know what they both are. Mikey, which one do you want?
Yeah.
I know what the modern one is, so I feel like I shouldn't choose.
I definitely know what the other one is, Mikey.
Yeah.
Last time I chose the 80s one, it was Lady Jane.
You
So-
didn't choose the 80s one because it would have been Grease 2. And this is not Grease 2. This is This is something with Chris Pine in it.
Yeah, because Chris Pine's not in Grease too, Mikey.
Yeah.
He's the child in Grease too.
No, that's Bruno Mars. Duh.
He's absolutely not. Also, this is not that old. This movie came out in like 2005 or something like that.
And it's a sequel,
And
Mikey.
it is a
but
sequel.
what do you think the modern one is, Mikey?
Red, White, and Royal Blue.
That would be the modern one.
Yeah, so the other one is Princess Diaries too.
And I'm doing both of them. So it's just a matter of what we're doing this week versus what we're doing 3 weeks from now.
Yeah.
It's whatever you want to do, Paige.
This is why I asked you.
As long as it's not a musical, I am excited to watch it.
Well, I have bad news about Princess Diaries too.
What? How is that possible? Chris Pine is a bard, so I get it.
It's terrible. It's the worst. There's a Panera Bread in Genovia. There's only one song in it, but it is awful.
We're all in Genovia
It's that bad.
because we're here to get married because of a weird clause.
Yep.
I'm sure it's something like that, right? Like she has to get married.
Yeah, to Chris Pine, and she's like, I can't, and you're just like, well, girl.
Oh, but you fully can.
He's one of
It's
the
Chris
best
Pine.
Chris's.
Top 5.
Top 5. He's like top 3 Chris for me personally.
I really like Chris Pine.
I like Chris Pine. So which one? Are we just gonna flip a coin?
Yeah, flip a coin.
Yeah,
I
why
like
don't
that
you flip
idea.
it? It's your pick, baby. Like I don't want to mansplain your pick to you, Paige.
Do you want the blank side or the head side of the
I was
SD
gonna
card?
flip this.
Mikey, the SD card should be in the recorder. What are you doing?
This is the SD
That's the one. That's the one
mini
from the
card.
travel recorder.
Oh, that's for the travel recorder. Holy
I got
shit.
you good.
Wait. Okay.
Fuck, Mikey. I was about to yell. Oh.
SD's great. We just watched this movie on it.
You know what? Let's do Red, White, and Royal Blue. Let's do Red, White, and
Okay.
Royal Blue, and then we'll do Princess Diaries 2 in 3 weeks.
I'm excited for Red, White, and Royal Blue because I've watched it. I watched it shortly after it came out, and I was into it.
Are we gonna get some lion roars? I'm hoping for some lion roars.
You absolutely are not gonna get lion roars.
Damn it!
It
Fine.
is like Lifetime presents Red, White, and Royal Blue, and
I'm back in.
love
I'm
that
all in
about it.
now.
I loved it.
Whatever. All right, it's Red, White, and Royal Blue.
It'll be fun though. So your homework for next week is to watch Red, White, and Royal Blue. I think it's still on Amazon Prime. I know that's where I watched it, and then check back for that episode. So, Mikey, do you have a review for us to read?
No.
Well, while you're looking one up, let me tell them how they can have their review run on the podcast, and that's to leave us a 5-star text review, and we'll have Mikey read it for you. So, Mikey, whose review were you going to read this week?
Monkey Gene.
Well, what does Monkey Gene have to say?
Wait, what is the title of the review?
Oh, okay.
Wait, what?
Exactly.
I came from Cult Podcast to Horror Virgin and got lost and found RTP.
Wow. Okay.
Oh.
Nice.
What a journey.
It's good to know we're your third favorite. Well, second and third favorite.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just happy to be listed. Monkey Gene.
Me too, honestly.
I love this podcast because it's a great cast that talks crap about the genre that I'm not really interested in. It's in my weekly rotation, along with Cult Podcast and Horror Virgin.
Hell yeah.
And that will never change.
Love hearing that.
You complete a me.
Wait, what is happening? Is it written phonetically in Mario?
I think so. You complete me. I weak. I don't know. I think that. Okay.
Hang on,
You
hang on,
complete
hang on.
me.
It says you complete me.
There's definitely a period missed.
I weak Mikey. That's the full
Comma.
Oh yeah.
It's a run-on sentence. Monkey G, you gotta do better. Also, if you need this, do it again in Scottish Simish, please. And did you get my tongs?
Did someone send you their tongs, Mikey?
Do you need tongs?
I think they misheard me.
Yeah, Mikey does not have your tongs, Monkey Gene. But thank you so much for that awesome 5-star review. Was that the end of the review, Mikey?
Yeah, that's 5 stars. And if y'all want me to read it in an accent, put it at the beginning. Because I literally just randomly pick one and then I read from the top and I don't look at the rest. It creates a natural, humorous style for how I do things called I Tell Truths. Or I Do Truths.
I do truths. Yeah.
What say you for?
What say you for?
Well, if you want to have Mikey read your 5-star review, leave us a 5-star review, I guess.
Don't get caught in the butts. Do this review right.
So, yeah, guys, if you like this power throuple that we have here on this podcast, make sure to check out our other podcast, The Horror Virgin. And that is the only other podcast that Mikey and I are on. But Paige gets around, and she is on 2 other podcasts. Black Card Rehab, and Cult Podcast. So guys, definitely check out those because they're amazing. If you want to follow us on social, we are at Romancing the Pod Show
Yes.
on Instagram, and we are at something else on Twitter who I just have never taken the time to learn
It's just Romancing Pod Show because they have a character limit and it's show SHO like Showtime.
So guys, check that out as well. And if you want to follow us all individually, Paige is at Rampage Wesley everywhere, including TikTok, except for Twitter, where she is at Paige Wesley. Mikey is at MRandolph24, and I am at Todd J. Awesome everywhere. And guys, we got a P.O. box. So if you want to send us some love letters or whatever you might send to a P.O. box, it's actually not a P.O. box. It's like a regular street address. It's pretty awesome. It's 6688 Nolensville Road, number 108-34, Brentwood, Tennessee 37027. So send us some stuff.
Yeah.
And that's going to be it for us, you guys. I'm Paige.
I'm Mikey.
And I'm Todd.
And you complete us.
To completion.
Do you want to have mirror sex with me? I'm going to say Bloody Mary 3 times.
But only at that special time of the month.
Bye.